Hey there, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Let's see if anybody pops on. Yeah, I part of this one obviously the pre-raid stream because it's VXP weekend basically, and there's been lots of discussions on what's happening, what to build, what the targets look like, and what we think the raid targets are going to look like. So I thought I'd have a little look. And if anybody's watching this back, then welcome, obviously. Anybody wants to pop on live, feel free to do so. So I'm going to go through the items anyway, and we'll take a little look, see how things are. Hey Jay, how you doing, mate? You all right? Good to see you. So if the music's too loud, mate, tell me for goodness sake. But we'll give it a go. Right. So we're going to take a peek at some targets. Let's go out and have a little look. Here we are. I wonder if that is there. Right, okay. So I think the first thing to do really is there's two targets, okay? And let me just flick. Here we go. Right, so first one's then the 90 target. Everyone's probably had a look at it now, but basically it's got three different types of ships in it, as we know. It's got a Reaver riot hull, okay, and it's interesting because they've got a gun on there basically that doesn't normally fit on that ship, which is quite amusing. But that's typical of them. They do their own thing. Basically, so it's got like a depth charge, but it's an ice depth charge as well. So that's on there as well. The Marauder I thought was quite funny because that's come from Armored Games as well. That's the Armored Games skin, so that's on there as well. So quite like that. And then there's the Reaver Enforcer. Okay, there are two different types. In this 91, there is this one here with the red core. Okay, later on there comes something else. What is interesting as well, although you don't think it's part of the target, but actually it is, and that's obviously the land tiles. The land tiles are dotted around just to be goddamn annoying. It's as simple as that. They are there only just to stop you driving in certain directions, basically. So that's about it. So that's it in the target, basically, and we'll go and have a little look and see what we can find. Right, okay, let's see if we can find a 90 that hasn't been touched. I can imagine most people have probably done their VXP by now. He says. So, Jay, I don't know if you know, but anybody that's in the chat watching this afterwards, then what do you reckon that ship there is? Okay. Not many people have got that now, to be honest, because there's not many people left in the game that had it when it first came out. So that is quite a unique flagship. So I thought I'd play with that one. We're going to take a look at the target with a trencher. Why? Because it outranges most things, but it's a good thing to use to emphasize range as well, because this trencher's got a phenomenal range on it. I have got 4 ships done. We'll go through builds and that sort of stuff. We'll look at crews, etc., etc. But we're going to take a look at the target itself first. So, right, like I said, so the first thing then we got this this riot ship. Okay, it's skinless. It's the original one, so it's the really sort of the closest thing around. So here's a target in general. This one here is pretty straightforward. It's pretty easy. They're like I say, there's the 3 ships. The Marauders, obviously the Enforcer there, and it's the Enforcer with the red cap. Okay, then, and then obviously then the Riot itself. So this, I believe, will be equivalent to the auto target. And if you're autoing, then maybe you want to have a little bit more. Well, if you're altering this target, okay, we'll take a look and see what you think. But let's go in a bit closer and see if we can. See what this thing's going to fire us. So I'm going to charge at it basically. We're just going to read off what damage you're going to get. I mean, the trench will kill it, but there we go. So there you go. You see then, it fired obviously the blue obviously weapon at me. In general terms, that's normally a that's normally concussive. So we'll just have a little peek. It is quite a big target, this one. There are a couple of things. Like I said, look at all these land tiles. They're all over the place. And they're designed later on particularly to sort of like make you go in the wrong places necessarily. Because when you have to start avoiding certain things later, particularly the other target, it's annoying to try and get away from things. So anyway, right, yeah. So there you go, proves it then that that ship there is absolutely concussive and nothing but. Then okay, so it's a concussive ship there. So that's our first concussive ship in this target. Okay, so we'll close that down. We'll do an instant fix first. This target is not going to be difficult. Okay, it's going to be a repetitive target, though, definitely without a doubt. But it certainly won't be difficult. It'll be fixed. It probably won't fix. It's probably got no damage on it. It's probably got 0 actually. Let's have a look. Yeah, it's got 0. Okay, so we'll go back in again. Next thing we're going to then is just take a look at the enforcer, but also just have a little look at those marauders, the armored marauders. Okay, and there's a reason why I look at those, really, to be honest. But this enforcer here, then, let's have a look and see what it does to us, if it does anything at all. So we will be using the dedicated ships for the raid, but I just want to get this up and running first. There we go. So we've got 2 different weapon types. Then you can see that there's rockets coming in, and there's also obviously the blue ice weapon as well. So 2 different weapons there. So some small rockets. They were red. You saw them coming across there, and they were sort of having a mild arc, but not a huge one. Okay. We're going to remove these before we go back out. It's because watch the top corner there. You'll notice. So these things are annoying. So if you're going to be doing targets for other people, so you watch this. Look. So as soon as you hit it, obviously your retreat bar disappears, which is pretty annoying. They don't do any damage whatsoever. They're just there to frustrate, really. Particularly when we bring the actual fleet in. And the reason that is obviously we've got a weapon that's basically an auto fire. It's built into the hull itself, and those things are going to get in the way, and they're going to draw some of the fire, which is going to be frustrating. Anyway, like I said, so let's just see what that enforcer gave us. I believe it gave us both damage types anyway. Come on, come on, come on. I mean, that's it for ship types in this target. It's just the 3. And one of them is just there for annoyance, really. That's the little marauder. Yeah, and like I said, it's explosive and it's concussive. Okay, so that's all the ship types done. Okay, so we won't use the trencher anymore. We'll hopefully get that fixed. And we'll take the fleet in itself. We'll finish it off using the fleet. So well, I've got 4 ships here. They are at U3, but they're not all fitted out. They're all fitted out with the specials, but they don't all have weapons on, because I'm not fitting weapons just to take them off again, because I'm going to go limited weapons. Like I said, we will talk about build. Look at that little ship, that's it. We will talk about build when we go back into dock in a moment. But because there are a couple of options, and it really is down to how you intend to play the game, and also what sort of specials you've got available to you. Right, let's see if I can trigger this. Well, we'll notice a difference now. So these things just try and run away from you, basically. So they try and kite you and then run away. So that wasn't too bad. You can split your ships up as well, obviously, and that's probably a good idea for doing these ones. Because these ones, like I say, will fire 2 different effects at you, basically. I'll get rid of these. Like I said, they're not doing anything. We can spin around and use up some of our... Now, they've got a reload charge on these things, so I'm just going to pause a second, let them go in. Right, okay. Here comes another riot. And he's dead as well. Okay. What have we got left? There's another one here. Okay, that one's gone. So damage isn't too bad. Like I said, these are U3. There's no flagship yet. You can see the damage is it's there, but it's not horrendous. It's what I mean about these little marauders, though. They're freaking annoying. Hello, mate. How are you? Stefan, you right? Another Reaver Hulk here. So I'm splitting them up. I'm splitting them up because obviously they're taking. I've got 2 area effect weapons hitting me basically, and each one of those, obviously, evade's going to do nothing in this fleet, unfortunately. So it's a case of splitting up the ships as best you can, or at least taking one ship in, maybe taking the flagship in first, let it take the damage, and then take the other ships in. Okay, with a bit of shift click. Can't believe that little flagship's still alive. Have you worked out what it's called yet? The Reavers are annoying. There's one more riot down there. So you can see this marauder now. I'm going to go in and take this. Yeah, there we go. Look, see how annoying that is. Now, if I get too close, obviously I'm going to trigger that riot at the same time. So hopefully I can get me some splash damage from a bit of that. Right, he'll be dead now. Okay. Like I said, these ships aren't fully fitted out, so I've not got the full firepower that's required. I've only got 2 ships done, and 2 have only got a weapon on, basically. As you can see then, so that target there, 7% damage, and obviously 10% damage there. So more concussive in that one than there is explosive. But then again, there was an awful lot of concussive there. A lot of Reaver Hulks had the concussive, didn't they? And obviously the Riots had concussive as well. So if you're particularly doing that, let's turn that music off. It's terrible. We'll try to. That's better. So it is a Corvette type of thing. Yeah, you're right. It is. That's not his name though, but it's a type of Corvette. Okay. Yeah. So in that target there, if you're autoing, I advise, and you're only going to auto that target because some people do that. Particularly those that still got the BP app that works, then basically you're probably going to want to actually go heavy on your concussive plate and not so much on the explosive plate, because obviously there's far more concussive in there than what there is explosive. It's just something to consider. There are basically both ship types that are firing concussive at you, where there's actually only one ship type that's firing the explosives. So it's just something to think about. Right, oh look, the ship's dead. Okay, right. How are we doing for damage? 4. Okay, well let's just recall this. We'll go back and have a look at the ships, and I need to find a 91 next, don't I? So I don't know how long this stream will be. It's just that it's easier to explain things doing it on a stream than trying to do a video and then not cover all the bits. Maybe we'll come up to this 91 in a second. Let's go back in base and have a little look. Right, so that's 139. Wow. Okay, we'll get that fixed up in a second. Right, so build-wise, there are some, like I say, there's some reasonable options here for building. Let's just turn that thing down a bit. Right, okay. I've got the shipyard going empty at the moment, so let's just have a little look. In fact, no, let's not do that. Let's do this. Right, so this is the ship that I'm basically using. Let me just get rid of the sheet of battery. Right, at the moment then, because I'm going to be driving, I've gone 3 X plate, so 3 explosive, okay, and I've gone 1 concussive basically. It's a guess. Okay, and I'll caveat all of this. Most of it's a guess, okay, based off the targets we're looking at now. And based off that previous thing, then, hey, bro. Based off that previous target, though, you would think actually it's better to go more concussive. And it depends on what we actually get in the raid, but I'm more interested in going explosive for a driving target than I am going concussive for a auto target. And obviously there's going to be another top tier target as well that may come in a second of the raids. That'll be the August raid, basically. And that may actually bring in something even more problematic as well, far more explosive. So I'm hedging my bets for the future, not necessarily for the next raid. Okay, okay. I'm not sure why that's flashing, but there we go. To do that, we've got a bit of time yet. Yeah, so like I said, with this here, you've got options. If you don't think you're going to be able to get up to U3, okay, then you'll want to consider maybe a different last special. These are the new ones, obviously. The Liberty Belt is really, really good because it gives you, not only just gives the reload, but it gives you 95% damage, which is pretty impressive, to be honest. And it's only a tier 9, so we've had tier 9.5 and 10 as well. The Liberty Belts are pretty impressive, to be honest. But notice here, depth charge critical 15%. So if you can't get up on your depth charge crit, okay then, and you don't have all your CICs ready. There's 2 obviously in this week's FM. There'll be 2 in next week's FM. We've got another one as well, fortunately. So there'll be a 5th one as well. Pillage comes and we'll complete the flagship. No point putting any countermeasure on here at all. Complete waste of time because there are no countermeasure slots on these ships whatsoever. Okay, and it doesn't look like you'll be able to countermeasure anything that's in the target anyway. So it's this last slot that's going to sort of like make people think. There are a couple of options. Okay, so if we just go across here and we go from concussive, okay, because that's what we're dealing out. There's not a huge amount in here, to be honest. I mean, all this stuff here is sort of like torpedo look and that sort of stuff, so that's no good to us at all. Yes, you can get a little bit more sort of concussive reload, but that's also pretty weak, to be honest. I wouldn't ever go for the upgrades because it just gives you 10% or thereabouts, 9.9, but 10%. So that's not the way ahead either. These are the options basically. You have got obviously, yeah, concussive reload 30%, but I think we can do better than that. Like I said, there's the pseudo battery. That's what I've gone for because I'm going to be at U3, okay, and that gives you concussive damage at 50% and splash damage reduction, which I never know if it works or not. Derpy and the guys have said the same thing. Hefe was saying the same thing, honestly. You know, I never sure whether splash damage reduction works or not. So ignore the splash damage reduction bit, but definitely the 50% concussive damage is definitely worth considering. But if you those are in the FM, by the way. There's 2 this week. Obviously, you get 2 next week and that sort of stuff. And there's another one for afterwards as well. But you also probably got one of your own previous skirmish fleet as well. Because I've definitely got them on mine as well. Right. This is the other one then. So impact overdrive. The reason I say about impact overdrive is, as you can see there, look, it's not quite as good. It's giving concussive damage at 42% instead of 50%, but it is bringing you back up on that depth charge, a critical of 15%. And it's only a critical charge, but the thing is, if you're not at U3 and you add this back on, and you do happen to have the CICs on, it will get you back over 100% for your critical chance. If you are at U3, you don't need to have this on because the U3 gives you that 15%. So it's dependent on whether you need it or whether you don't. And if you think you can get rid of just a couple of ships in the first raid and it doesn't really matter, then I would go for the battery anyway, because you are definitely getting a bit of an uplift anyway, because you are getting, look, 61.6 for this, okay, as opposed to 58.3. So it's not a huge difference, I know that, and you know, the crit difference, I think it goes up to about 102%, something like that, you know, as opposed to, you know, 87, 88 sort of stuff. So was it 80? Yeah, something around that. I'm not really sure what it is, but I know it goes above 100%. Some people say it's 112, some people say it's not. So, but I think, personally, I think you take the pain in the first raid, you know, and it's only a mild amount, but and you go with the concussive machine of battery. I would go with that personally. It's quicker to build as well, so it might help you. That's my goal, isn't it? I'm happy with this. 3 explosive. These are pretty set in their way, to be honest. I like to say when the CIC comes in, then you'll definitely get an improvement on when the CIC kicks in as well, because you have that aura effect of an added bonus for crit hitting. So we're nearly down, so we'll definitely put we're under the 5 minutes window, so that's fine. Come on, where's it gone? Right. Very good. So we'll speed that up then. Like I said, so let me have a look at, if I just redo this one here then, so press refit on this one. Yeah, you can see, so this one here then has got the CIC on it as well. And when we look at it then, the good thing about the CIC, it's got the aura cap of 5. So that means everything that's happening on this one ship, it'll happen across the whole fleet. And that's a rarity. Well, it's also a rarity actually, because when you go across to look at the blueprints, you go, where is it? It's the first. This is the very first one that's actually limited. We've not had a limited one before, so it's an unusual option for a Kickstarter to pick. But I suppose in some respects it's better than making another limited special. So yeah. So this one here, like I said, turn speed, it adds 15%, but that's not the end of the world. Cold snap immune, that can help obviously with the ice fields, obviously if they've got an ice depth charge, but generally that's radioactive stuff. So concussive survival was quite strong in that 15. Okay, yeah, 15,360 for concussive explosive there. But actually, it's more importantly is the depth charge critical chance. But you've got to be in that range of 40. Okay, so that's an aura effect. Okay, so if you're not inside the range of 40, you're not going to get that critical depth charge going off. So just bear that in mind. Okay. Some people may say, do you know what, I want to fire at full range. If you want to fire at full range, then actually you may want not to use the Bushido battery and go the other way itself, because then you're not worried about range. You're actually going to get that critical hit no matter what, because you've already boosted the 15%. So that's the other option. Okay, like I said, I am going to go for 3x plates, and I'll show you why now. Before we go back out, cruise. Let's have a look at cruise. Just remember, whilst this is okay, yeah, it is obviously a skirmish hull. Actually, when we go into it, it's quite interesting, this hull. Let's have a look. He says. Hang on a minute, 2 seconds. Let's go into the hull itself. Let's select a hull, and we go into skirmish itself. Then it's Drac. Okay. So Draconian, there are a couple of crews that help Draconian. Okay, so it doesn't matter what level it is, it doesn't matter what class it is, it's the tech type. The tech type is Draconian, so that's worth remembering. So let's pop back in, have a little look. Crews, right? So there are a few crews that we can use. Okay, some do a bit and some do very little. Obviously we can go for things like grease monkeys and that stuff, but I'm going to ignore all the top level ones because not many people have them, and those that do have them don't tend to want to use them just for raiding, that sort of stuff. The evade crew, the only bonus you're going to get the evade crew, to be honest, is because most of the damage in there is area effect. So I would basically just oh, nice, well done, Jay. Okay, I'm going to get hit in a minute. Is the turn speed, and that's because obviously we're trying to do that daisy wheel effect as we're sort of like turning it around, particularly trying to get away from the explosive fields, which we'll see in a minute in the 91 target, which is likely to be the driver's target. This is quite decent. Okay, and so Deadeye's Destroyer, not too bad because you get a critical chance as well, and it deals double the damage. So that's quite impressive, to be honest. Okay, and if you can't get the specials but you want to go with the battery as well, then you get a 15% boost in here as well. It lasts for an hour, so if you've got a few of these, that's another way. If you're not at U3 or you don't pick up all the CICs, it's also a third option as well. So that's that's another chance. You can use that because that works with depth charges as well. Steel hedges come good, okay, doesn't matter which level you're using, but ultimately it's either 10% bonus or a 15% bonus to other defenses. So it's good because obviously it's explosive and concussive, so that both of those have always been in this one crew, so that can help. What else have we got then? There are more. Speed crew I wouldn't really worry about. There's no point using the building damage crew because there's no buildings to worry about yet. Anyway, we haven't seen obviously the final target. Dragon Slayer. Dragon Slayer is quite interesting. It's not one that you don't really use a great deal, but the Dragon Slayer has got a 15% reload, okay, and it also gives you turn speed. So there's a double positive. Hey, Si, how you doing, mate? It's a double positive on this one then. So this is really, really good for draconian hulls. Reload speed fantastic. So it's almost like the evade crew, but actually you get a reload bonus because we'll be running drac hulls. So there's absolutely really no point rolling for this one when actually it's just as easy to roll for the other one. And you get, okay, not quite as much turn speed, but you get 115, but the fact is you get 15% reload, which is decent, I think, to be honest. It all helps. Forget about the top bit, it's Zimphium, that's irrelevant, unless you want Zimp Salve. But and that's really about it. I mean, you could have some splash crews and that sort of stuff if you want to, the Molotov Maidens, those sort of things, but it's not much that's going to help you, to be honest. We can talk about the weapon itself, because the weapon on here, look, you can see it's got a splash of 15, so it will help a little bit, but ultimately not many of these ships are there to sort of like stack up on top of each other, so it's not as if they're all sort of like clubbing together. So splashes, and it's only 15 splash, it's not like a mortar where you've got like a 30 splash. And yeah, we'll go back through the builds. I don't worry, mate. So this is my build basically. I've gone for 3x, and you'll see why in a second. That's obviously the limited weapon itself. It's the depth charge. Reload is already quite reasonable, 3.2. So we're going to be obviously going to get right up there into the points of under a second basic for reload. Although I don't think these are the most powerful part of the ship. I actually think the built-in weapon's more powerful, to be honest, or more usable, especially once you start spinning around a little bit. Yeah, one concussive, simply because of, obviously, like I said, I intend to drive this raid, because I think this raid is going to be frustrating, to be honest, if you don't. Anyway, I'm not going to put a crew on, like I said. We'll just go back out and have a little look. Have you worked out what this hull's for yet, by the way? I know nobody must know what it is because he's got one. If you're watching this afterwards, type it down in the comment section below and that sort of stuff, and see if you know what it is, and I'll give you a thumbs up. Okay. That's if nobody doesn't spoil it, because I know he's definitely got one because he won one as well. Right here. Anyway, let's go across and have a little look. We're going back to the 91 this time. So where is my trencher? It's there. Is there a 91 still sitting there? Yes, there is. That's good. So we'll come across to this one. Like I said, we'll just change screens again, and we'll go back. So this time then, we're going to look at this one here. So this is the 91. It's different. Okay, then what's different about it? Yes, it's still got the riots. Okay, and that's very, very similar. It's still got the annoying armored marauders in it as well. But we've got different ships now on the right side of this picture. Okay, we have got an Eradicator hull. Now the Eradicator, it's annoying. It fires mortars, and whilst they sort of fire in your direction, I'd say they sort of like, you split the 360 into two halves, or maybe probably a little bit less than that. It fires randomly in your direction, but it can cover an arc probably of about 120 to 180 degrees basically. So and then it fires once about every 20 seconds, seems to have a range of about 200. Okay, and then the fire fields, which looks like the old cheeseball fire fields. The fire fields sit on the water and they last until basically till it refires again. It's about 20 seconds basically. But when because they all travel in one direction, as you'll notice in this target in a minute, when they start stacking up, there's fire fields absolutely everywhere. So it's really, really annoying. And like I said, they last about 20 seconds. The Enforcer, okay, the Enforcer is slightly frustrating as well, because the Enforcer has the cheese balls, but the cheese balls this time have the, like in the previous raid, where those long-range turrets were firing at you, and they left a sort of like a ring on the water sort of stuff. Not a fire ring, but just a ring. In this target, they're really, really faint. Okay, so, and they do fire in the last position you were sort of stopped, so you can, if you keep moving, it'll chase you around basically until you kill this thing off. I didn't check, but we'll have a look to see if there's an inner range of these mortars, because there might be one basically. But obviously, when you're getting close as well, then it starts spewing other rockets at you as well. So basically, we've got the Eradicator, which is explosive. We've got the Reaver Enforcer, which has got two forms of explosive on it, and the only thing this time it's got concussive from memory is the Reaver riot hull. So we'll just confirm that and we'll go back and have a little look. Right. He says, right, here's the 91. Let's hope no one has actually been in it. If not, we'll find a different one. Might actually change the music type in a minute because it's annoying me. Okay, so just because it's the XP, but this one we start with the top corner. We'll have a little look at the target. Let's just put the trenches stationary at the moment. One thing I will say is there's things off the screen, okay, and that's where the riots are. There's two over here, there's two at the top, and there's two single ones on the bottom. They're the ones that sort of come in first. They come charging in down the base, so we can't sit around too long. But there's an eradicator there, okay, it's at the top, and this is my point now. These marauders are going to be really annoying to us because obviously we want to try and get in and kill these holes and kill these ones here. Whilst this one, like I say, chases you, so you want to try and dive around. This one is dumbfire, but it doesn't actually dumbfire as you'd think it would. But I'll show you what I mean in a moment. I'm going to clear out some of this target so we've got less things to worry about. So here we go. Look, he's coming in now to fire, and whilst I'm backing out, they've gone up and they've got so there's no sort of pattern as to where they're firing, but they definitely don't fire on this side. Look, so it's definitely in the direction that I'm heading, or where I'm coming from. Sorry, and you can see that they're moving, and it basically seems to last just a bit longer than when the reload lasts. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then they've just gone now. So there's a slight overlap, and obviously this is explosive damage inside. So that's all that fires. If we just drive into one quickly, there we go. Which should be taking a bit of damage. There they are. Look. So they're coming in and just being generally annoying. Okay, we'll get a bit closer to this, and this one obviously now though. This one's a blue aura in it, or it looks bluish anyway. We'll get a bit closer, he says. I want the riots to come up. I want to kill those off as well. I want to just have one set left if we can. Right, so they're the same again. Look, obviously they're firing concussive. Okay, so they're easy to kill because obviously it's a trencher. So I'm going to leave the last set to come out and get me. But I want to clear off this top enforcer basically because I want to use this Reaver hull clip in it when I bring the proper ships in. So we'll clear this rubbish out of the way and we'll definitely get rid of the marauders. So you can see these things there. So it's aiming now at where I was. I'm not worried about taking a bit of damage, but I don't want to kill this ship basically. So you can imagine you're going to try and get away from. See there you go, that aura effect just hit me there. So these rings are probably oh, there's two. There's the other two rights, right? Okay, I don't want to kill the third set of rights, so we'll stay up out of the way here. We'll let this time out. So we're going to have obviously concussive damage, and we're definitely going to have explosive damage. That's a given. Then we're going to clear up the rest of the target now with the proper ships. I say we've still got. If you can see down the bottom here, we've still got two riots off screen, off to our left. So we'll probably trigger those afterwards. Yeah, so quite a bit of concussive damage and very little explosive. Why? Because I managed to when one of these things is sat still, it's got a huge amount of resistance anyway. But you know, it's you can avoid a lot of the explosive if you drive around it. But I haven't got in as far as the rockets yet either. So that's the main reason, really. Like I say, most of this is just sort of like speculation. I can't say I know exactly what's going to be in the raid because I haven't seen the raid targets. So you know. Right, let's go in with a dedicated fleet and a random flagship. Let's take a look then. Okay, so we're going to go up actually get this enforcer out of the way, and then we'll see the different effects that it has basically. So we're going to stack up. people are going to have different methods, obviously. There's the cheese balls, look. So we'll see if they've got an inner range. Just one thing I was interested in. So whilst we can get in there, this is going to fire rockets at me. Fantastic. So it seems to have stopped. It has. So there's definitely an inner range, isn't there, for the cheese balls, because it's not firing them. Oh, it is firing them at the flagship, but not at me. Okay, so there is definitely an inner range. That wasn't horrendous, I suppose, depending on what your class is horrendous. But I could have actually spread them out and send them all over, and the rockets can't hit all the ships at the same time. But I was more interested in that time if the cheese balls had an inner range, and they do. So the good thing here, if I don't hang around this ship too long, I can get this thing out the way. But here we start getting the overload now. See, because everything's firing at me, which is slightly annoying. I'm trying to get the I'm just trying to get to a stage where we can just confirm that everything in here is explosive, which it should be. So we've been hit by the cheese balls. We've been hit by the. I'm trying to not take damage. That's the thing. If I can help it. So I do want to exit. Okay, so these ships are as fast as they're going to get, I think, to be honest. Damnation, hello, buddy. Blimey, it's been a long time. Good to see you. You're right. Okay, right. We can exit that. So we've basically gone into two of the ships there. So we've had the Eradicator shooting at us. Obviously, we said it's sort of dumb fire, and it's firing up. Seems to be in your direction around about 120 to 180, and at random fire fields on the water that seem to stick around for about 22, 23 seconds, something like that. But the reload seems to be about every 20 seconds. And then obviously the Enforcer fires at you, and that does fire those cheese balls with that strange ring that you can hardly see. And that sort of like chips away at your health as well. But both of them, then you can see it's explosive. And you can see it was messy, you know. And that was just two ships, you know. So I can imagine the complex target that we're going to get, you know, the top tier target, the X target. If it's got all that in it as well, and there'll be multiple ships, it's going to be an absolute nightmare. And that's why I've gone heavy on explosive plate, because I think it's going to really, really be annoying. So in this target particularly, then the only thing that's actually got concussive is just the riot. That's it. And so far, you know, if this is an example, there aren't that many of them. We'll go back in with the same ships, like I said, but we just wanted to point out that obviously so far that's all explosive on that run, basically. And most of it's avoidable. So you might be a really, really good driver and go, do you know what, actually I'm going to go concussive plates because I can avoid all that. But at this stage, you know, and all these annoying tiles and that sort of stuff, I think if we get backed into a corner, and if you're not careful, like with this this target here, this is why I'm going down here first, all this lot backs up into this corner here, and then you've got to try and clear it. And every time you try and get one ship, all the other ships are firing all over you. It's a right mess, it really is. So we're going to try and target this this first one here. So there you go, he's done firing at me now. Cheese balls are firing. So both of these, you'll see them in it. There's going to be fire fields everywhere in a minute. I'm trying to use a built-in weapon, basically. So there you go, there's fire fields now. I'm burning up. And this is just two hulks. You know, there's just two of them, and obviously the Hulk, the Enforcer as well. So if I shift-click onto that, and that's a problem, even though I'm shift-clicking onto that, because these have an arc. Now, they said it was 40 degrees, but if you add up 8 40s, that doesn't make 360. So I think it's 45 degrees is what they meant. But the firing arc in, here comes the Reavers. Okay, the riot holes. Here we go. Let's actually see if I can get them. So they, like I said, they're annoying. They come in at stupid angles, fight you almost, look, because they can fire at much greater range than what you can. And they're coming back again, look. Right, it's coming back again. So let's see if I can spin round, use my built-in weapon. Yeah, great. Okay. Yeah, so no matter whether you, frustratingly, no matter whether you target, let's say, I guess I've shift clicked it now, and whether I like it or not, I've got no choice. I suppose I could spin that way around, maybe. That might help. But they just target whatever's coming up in that arc. So, and here's the rockets. So I don't think I can avoid them. To be honest, I could split the whole up. You know, split my ships. You can do that, and then dance around them, sort of thing. That's possible. But there's my point. Look, see, there's an awful lot more explosive there. You know, I did watch. Yeah, Jerry had a good video actually. I mean, I'm not the driver I used to be. I don't seem to have the hand-eye coordination, as I said when I was doing some bounty the other day, you know. But Jerry was pretty good. He was sending in one ship on the left-hand side and sending the other four not quite as close, but on the right-hand side. You know, I'll probably have to get my my keyboard skills up for this raid, to be honest. But so that worked. Obviously, it was targeting the one ship, and the other four ships didn't take too much damage. So that wasn't too bad. These are going to be hefty for repair. Hefty for repair. They really are. I mean, that's. I mean, okay, half repair time. Yeah, that'd be 120. I get that. You know, and if it's 120 per target, bear in mind, I haven't got the flagship. It's not there, so maybe it'll be under an hour. Okay, I'm not really sure, to be honest. And that was supposed to be the top level target, but I did it in sections. And don't forget that Trencher went in and did some of the work itself. So I'm not really sure, to be honest. Let's just recall the hull. So I've got four in there, Dalmatian. That's four, Dalmatian, mate. Sorry, that's four ships, but they've not all got. I've not got on weapons on all of them. So whilst I've done the specials, I'm using the built-in weapon on two of the ships. So it does take longer. I get that, and obviously more of the depth charge died to kill it faster. But yeah, I could do. Well, you would get. I could take in the two ships, to be honest, but I'm trying to rely on the built-in weapon, basically, to see if that makes a difference. I can take just two ships in and see if it makes a difference, and I think it'd probably be a good idea. So what if we fix, and then we'll put a crew on, and we'll try it with a crew and see if that makes a difference. But like I said, you know, I've got that one there's, you know, pretty much built. Well, it is built up, to be honest, because that's even got the CIC on it as well. Well, this one has on it. It's got two weapons on it as well. There are two weapons on there, and that's a standard weapon, by the way, just because I wanted to make sure they got some range on them. That one there has just got two of the limited weapons on, and this other one's been built up as well. So let's just repair those for a second. In fact, what we're going to do is we're going to take those out of there. "38 minutes. Okay, so we'll start repair on that. And we'll put these other ones. That one's not built, is it? That one is not built either. Like I said, when we're talking about crews, I think you've got two choices. I mean, I've gone for. I did put mine to U3. The reason I put mine to U3 is quite simply that I think the new garrison hull's coming at the moment, so I'm going to save my tokens for that. That's my goal anyway, is to try and get as much of the garrison hull done ready for the new garrison targets. And if I'm ahead, then I'll stack up the tokens. You know, I can do that. But we've got to get through pillage. We've got to get through, obviously, a few other things, really, to be honest. Yeah, I agree, and I think definitely it's a case of like having one. I mean, unfortunately, countermeasures aren't working here. We can't even put a countermeasure on these ships because there's no slot for countermeasures. Evade's not working because it's all area effect and that sort of stuff. So it's definitely a case of doing it the old way, and then it's like letting one ship tank in and take all the damage, and then try and slide in the other four ships. You know, once we get the fleet of 5 with the other 4 ships, and then obviously let them do, you know, spin them around and get the killing and that sort of stuff. So that's a lot of people are going to find this raid, I think, goddamn frustrating. They're going to get annoyed they keep driving into the fire pools, and they're going to get really, really annoyed that they've got to get the best, or the least amount of damage. They've got to split the ships up and try and control them and that sort of stuff. And many people just can't do that. It's not possible. Well, it's possible, but they're not dexterous enough to be able to do that. Like I said, if I wasn't up there, then this would give me that 50% critical chance. If I've got the CIC, then you could use obviously Deadeye Destroyer, and if you haven't, if you want to use the Bushido battery and not obviously the other specials that we spoke about as well, then obviously it's a third way, but it means you're relying on the cruise. But it is only 15%, so it takes you over that 100% rate. So I think we'll go with Steelhead's crew. I think that's what's probably more usable. I think, user friendly. So this, so for a change though, Damnation, they've got two. They've got two VXP targets. In fact, they've got three VXP targets because people were struggling to do their Conquerors, so they put the last months in as well. But the auto one, the 90, doesn't look too bad, to be honest. It looks doable on auto, and in fact, that's what we'll probably try and do. In fact, we think we will. We'll just have a look and see what it does. Building damage, pointless. Like I said, the other one was obviously the Dragon Slayer, and that was because obviously it's the only one that's relevant here that's Drac specific. Like I said a minute ago, it gives you a reload boost and it gives you a turn speed. And if we are spinning around and trying to make things turn quickly, and avoid stuff, then maybe this one might help. Though it doesn't. I don't know. Killing things faster means you take less damage, but then if I'm driving into the explosive fields, then maybe it's better to go with the Steelhead's crew. I'm not really sure, to be honest. It's a catch-22, isn't it? Being able to turn faster would be nice. But then again, there's the CIC, the built-in weapon has got a reload time, so you don't want to spin too fast because it won't have reloaded by that time. But I think we'll try Steelheads and see what happens. How are we doing? Well, this one's done, he says. We've got one more to worry about. A little bit less damage on this. The damage actually wasn't even. That's intriguing. It's in they were all stacked. But quite interesting. Right, so yeah, I think we'll go Steelhead's crew. Like I said, yeah, I think Steelhead's crew's been the way ahead because once you're up there, this reload for this weapon is pretty low anyway. Like I said, on the weapon, the reload time is already even raw. The reload time's down to 3.2, so 15% when it's under 0.1 of a second. It's hardly anything. I've got all these at U3, so even though I've only part built some of them, they are all at U3 basically. Like I say, I think the battery is definitely the way ahead because of the extra boost you're getting basically. It does seem to be the only special you could question because the rest of them are pretty obvious, and you're definitely not going to anything better than Liberty Belt, but just because of the concussive damage and the reload, it's pretty amazing. Right, how are we doing? Are we nearly there? We've got a few seconds left. I'll take a sip of drink while I'm waiting. Got a nice London gin. Oh, how nice, lovely. Some Indian tonic water. Right, we'll just fight with two ships, okay, and see if it makes a difference. Ah, yeah, okay. Gin, I know, mate. I know. Doesn't give me a headache or a hangover, so there we go. I quite like it. And there's so many bottles these days, isn't there? Right. Let's have we're going to take that flagship out. Okay, we're just going to go straight now with the two ships because it just makes my my eyes a bit go gaga. So right. So we're going to go straight in. We're going to try and raw both targets, okay, with two ships, which would be a nice indication, hopefully, if these are similar, that they're similar to actually what is coming in the raid. Well, like I say, it's not fixed, but it is interesting that we've got two different targets and they've definitely got different ships. Like I said, we'll just go back and confirm for anybody. Oops. There we go. So there's this target here, which is the 90. And like I said, the 90 has got the Reaver right hull. Okay, then it's got the Armored Games Marauder. Okay, because that's the color of the skin. And yeah, I hear you, Si. And it's just got this Reaver Enforcer as well. These used to overload as well, but in this one here, they're not overloading. It may come in the top tier target. These may overload and go crazy on us, but I'm hoping that's not going to be the case. Okay, but at the moment in these targets, they don't overload, thankfully. And like I said, the only thing I'd say as well, which is annoying, is the land tiles. They are a hindrance this time. They're not there to help us. I find them a hindrance. Unless you can suppose you can stack the riot hulls up against them, maybe force them into them, and then obviously they'll because they got like looks like 200 combat speed, but they got a terrible turn speed. So we'll see what happens. So this is this is our auto target, I think, to be honest. Whereas the 91 or the equivalent, whatever the number's going to be, should remember it, to be honest, because they normally just go up in numbers. But yeah, Reaver riot hulls are back in there again. The Marauders are annoying because they're sitting around the enforcers and they're making your built-in weapon basically target them, because the arc of fire is only 45 degrees and not they've already shot them off before actually they've come back in. The Harris wheel sort of effect has already shot them off because they're dotted around these enforcers, which is annoying. The Eradicator, like I said, it's a dumb fire. It seems to fire somewhere around 120 to 180 as an arc, and yeah, basically just fires stupid mortars, really small ones, which you can't predict where they're going because they disappear all the time. And then when they do pop up, they flipping hit the water, and then they cause a fire field and that sort of stuff. Which also then dissipates and moves across the sea. You know, and they stick there for about 20. I reckon it's about 23, 24 seconds roughly, range of about 200. So yeah, so that's the two different types of ships basically. Right, let's see what we can do. Have we got another one? That's last month's basically, because that's what people are doing Conquerors. There's a 90 over here. Let's see if we can get it. Yeah, you're probably right. I'll probably egg them on to do that now. I wouldn't be surprised if they do it in the top tier target, the new combo one, that sort of stuff. They normally have like 2 or 3 things you've got to try and target first. So, because there's only 2 ships, I'm going to try and split them up a bit. Put one there, one there. Let's go and have a little look, see where we are. He'll come in, so I'm going to try and spin him around. See, he's got a much larger range than me, and I didn't even manage to kill him in one go then, did I? Okay, I mean, the damage that he produced then was minimal, wasn't it? I mean, I know it's only one ship, but even so, it wasn't too bad. Right, so this Enforcer, we're going to try and do a similar sort of thing. Bear in mind, this is the auto target, so we're going to drive it first, and then we're actually going to auto it with 2, or try to auto it with 2 ships. So let's get these going in. Let's see which one's going to take the damage. So that one's taking damage. So I'm going to hold this one back. That's sort of concept anyway. So this one here didn't really take any damage at all, whereas this one here took a little bit more damage. You look down on the bar down the bottom then. So that's a sort of concept, you know, if you're a nifty driver, that sort of stuff, you know, you split them up. Oh, here comes the riot again. Can we pin him against the wall? No, he's going to do his own thing. Like I said, he's outside my firing range now, so he's coming back again. Oh no, he's done. Oh, see, there you go. See what I said? They're only water tiles, or land tiles, sorry, but they're going to cause us an awful lot of trouble because he's hiding around down in there now. He's got a longer range of me, and I've got to try and. Oh, I'm going to draw him out, I think. You know, You go in there and he darts around and he's twice as fast as what you are. Right, he's dead now. Okay. So this is problematic about. So this one here is gone all the way up here. The end's going to enforce there and enforce there. If I obviously go to heal him, the right's going to come out at the same time. So I'm going to go over here and take this one out. This is my random crazy thought. So not quite sure where this right's going to go, but we'll give it a go. Is he going to dash down for the middle? Yes, he is. See, straight away, let's see, he's not even dead, look. I know I'm only using 2 ships, but... Okay. So, yeah, you tell me 8 segments on these ships, and Pix had on the CIC, it says there's 40-degree angle on each one. Well, if you think 40 degrees times 8, that doesn't make 360, does it? Come on, you lot. Die, 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 die. So, yeah, it's about dancing around and that sort of stuff. So the spinning wheel effect definitely works. But, it's going to take a bit more effort. It'd be nice if you just like pin it next to it, and then remember the old days you used to just click next to it and they used to just spin. They don't seem to do that anymore because it used to just make them dance around in circles by themselves. It was quite helpful, that was. But this one's taking more damage, so it's probably better to fire this one in first. How's your eyes, by the way? Because I found I was putting this earlier on, it made my eyes go all funny. Right, here we go. There's rockets and look like concussive Gatling gun as well, or concussive depth charge. I'm not sure which one it was reversed. The damage is horrendous. Yeah, I'm not liking this raid at all. You know, I really am not liking this. And okay, we're not raiding, but you know, my point is that okay, I get that. You know, like I said, and that you've got to be within 40. You know, so you've got to be about here for that overload effect for the CIC to work to say that you're going to get your 50% bonus, and that may not be a good thing. I'm not so sure. You know, whilst it's nice having the bonuses, you know, I'm not really sure that because I mean I'm too far out already. This is 93, by the way, the range. Yeah, the flag needs to have something special. Yeah, that's a very good term, special. I'm going to try not to target this, trigger this riot. These things are just annoying. I think that's the whole idea, though, isn't it? Right, so this enforcer's up there. So ship 2 is taking less damage, definitely. So let's let that one get the damage this time. Well, a little bit better, but you know, it does come down. So this thing that we already know is going to go shooting across the screen. So let's preempt that. You know, point. Look at that. Look, it's just going to be goddamn annoying. So whilst these are just water tiles, like I've said, they are an absolute hindrance to killing the target. Right. Okay. Done. So That was concussive hazing, like we said. That's the auto one. We'll have a look at it and we'll let it actually auto in a second. See if we can cheat with two ships anyway. But yeah, so look at that then. We resisted quite a lot, which is fine because obviously that's the built-in resistance. Evaded nothing whatsoever. So this is my point about having no evade, specials on your ship. Whilst when your ship upgrades, there is a small amount of evade. It is not really going to help you a great deal. 8% taken there, and then no evading on the explosive as well. So 40% resisted and 5% taken. But that's obviously, it would have been more balanced probably because I've got 3 plates and not 2 and 2. How did I do for damage this time? 57. Okay, 57. I am going to just quickly, because it's for the video anyway, so I'm just going to have a quick look and see if we can find another one then. Oh, there's one right in front of us, look. And we'll just let it go and do its own thing. I'm hoping, that this is an example of what you can do as 2 ships at U3, because we are in a position where we can get 2 ships done to U3. We have got the tile. We've definitely got the tokens in the FM and enough FM because we've got a bonus one as well to get 2 ships definitely built. Probably a flagship, but definitely 2 ships built, and you could upgrade them as well. So that's why I'm sitting at this at the moment. You could probably actually get a flagship and 1 ship done, and maybe go on the third ship as well. That was a 91. That's just popped in. But I want to have a look at this one here. I want to make sure it's full one before we do get too much. It's interesting they used a siege hull, the Eradicator, in a skirmish target. There we go. Right, this is complete, isn't it? Yeah, everything's in there. It is. Right, so we're going to do nothing, and let's just see what happens. Now, my concern is obviously I'm not going to get the spin effect now, so I'm just going to sit there, and that right, it's just going to do its own thing. It's going to disappear off the screen, and then it's going to come back again. And whilst I'm chasing it, I can't chase it off screen. I'm just relying on the fact that it's going around my ship. Okay, it killed it. We don't need that, so let's zoom in and take a look and see how it does now. Right, here's the Enforcer. Bear in mind it's rockets. There we go, and it's obviously I take it that's depth charges. I'm not really sure what they are, but the blue ones are the concussive ones, aren't we? So it's because I'm not spinning around now. Obviously, my built-in ship weapon, isn't doing anything. What was the time side? Remember, 57, wasn't it? Something like that. 57 minutes, I think. Since I haven't got to do any hand control, I'll have another sip of gin. Chin chin for gin. Whoops. It says that he's spelling it on his own desk. So that right auto triggered this time. It came down by itself. Oh no, it didn't. It was in this corner, so I must have actually been close enough. So it got pinned against that land tile that time. That was actually better. Right, this should be okay because it's only going to hit the marauders, so that's not too bad. 57. Thanks. I'm getting a bit forgetful these days, and my hand-eye coordination is nowhere near. I have to wear glasses now, and it's just all going south. But I still like making videos. There we go. Right, well, I suppose comfortably, at least the ship's going to be able to do it. What we ought to do is take the crew off, didn't we? And then have a go and see the difference what the crew makes. I mean, we know roughly it should make 15% difference, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to do that. Okay, moving up to the next. Now, hopefully that Enforcer and that Enforcer aren't too close together, so only one's firing. Yeah, it's not too bad. Now, I don't think the gin's got anything to do with it, honest. No, that's my excuse. I find the armored game rollers quite funny. Right, he's going to start firing now. So there you go. That's forced damage. That's not right, is it? That's bang out of order. That there you go. That's probably 10 minutes worth of damage. because it's targeting the marauders, obviously, and the enforcers obviously sitting there going, "Yep, I'll keep firing at you." Because his range is what, 120, 140, something like that. Same is going to happen here. Look, watch this. Particularly the bottom one. Not so much the top ones, but when it gets to here, it's just a way of giving you guaranteed damage. So there we go. So it's about 120 their range, isn't it, roughly? The damage for one target. I know it's two ships. I get that. If you've got the extra foot CICs, it will help you. And if you do get them upgraded, but these are U3 ships, and not as if they're weak. Oh, here we go. I'm chasing this riot all over the top. Okay, we're done. That's not pretty, is it? Okay, so what do we get then? We had 5% taken, obviously, because I've got 3 plates on, it's less. 42% resisted, again, no evade because evade's not helping us, and 8% taken then, and 45% resisted. I dare you do it on the other target. So that was 57 on the first one, wasn't it? Yeah, looking across 57. What do we reckon this time? What do we reckon? Two and a half? Oh no. So it would be under an hour for 2 ships if it was raid time, because it'd be half damage, wouldn't it? Sorry, fixed time. And I suppose if you're running a grease monkey crew inside your base, it would be 1 coin, but 1 coin for 1 target. Yeah, I'm trying to make myself sound happy about it, but I don't like the fact that the marauders were sticking around the enforcers, because that's just frustrating, isn't it? To be honest. Right. Okay. So that's that one there. I may just fix that. Yeah, I'll fix it up. Why not? Okay. I'm also talking about fixing. Did I start fixing the other ships? I'm not sure if I did or not. No, I didn't. So we'll take a look at the 91 again and just remind ourselves, obviously, that the 91 has got the explosive. It's only explosive and that sort of stuff. And the 91, the only thing that's concussive in there is the riot ship. Everything else is explosive. The Eradicator is explosive. Okay, dumbfire, and it's the fire fields. Okay, which seem to have an arc of about 120 to 180, and then obviously the enforcer is the one that fires cheese balls at you, but the cheese balls fire some sort of small ring that dissipates on the water very, very quickly, like less than a second. And then the riots that you can't see, they're off the patch. So, is it better to maybe to kill all the eradicators first? Maybe it is, because they're the ones that do all the cheese balls, and maybe just get rid of them first. Maybe I kill off all these 2 here, and then maybe go down around the back and then kill this one off, and maybe up that one. I don't know. I'm trying to think raid tactics now. I'm not really keen to auto this target, I must admit. I don't know. I mean, this thing is going to fire at me, but I'm hoping its effect is less effective. Its effect is less effective. I'm hoping it's going to cause me less damage than getting rid of this and this. And the good thing, I suppose, is I don't need to split them up, because it's only this thing that's going to fire rockets at me. So, look, see, the built-in weapons don't do a huge amount of damage. And that's the annoying thing. Is you notice that because maybe I should spin the other way around. I think I should spin the other way around. So if I come down here, and I spin this way, hopefully all the weapons are, all the marauders gone anyway. So here comes some riots. Oh, 2 sets. I really detest these targets, by the way. I'm not enjoying this at all. You're just going to get dizzy doing this. I'm not even sure this is the right thing to do, but how else are you going to get the dumbfire weapon to fire off? Okay, so yeah, everything snacks in this bottom corner in this VXP target. So I'm going to try and go up now and get this one. So 4 cheese balls. Is it always 4 cheese balls? It looks like it is, doesn't it? Well, I think the other riots are in already. If I can draw them up over here. Do they follow me? Yes, they do. So I'm going to try and draw them up out the way. I mean, this is one of those targets. Just you're going to get guaranteed damage, like it or not. It's nothing to do about it. I mean, what's the range of this? 90? Yeah, about 120, isn't it? I'd say for the riot, about 120. Right, he's gone. There's no more to come in, so that's all of them. I think the targets stink. Not enjoying this at all. And once the first target, the auto one's quite quick. This one just seems to be taking a lot longer. Right, I'm going to try and keep away from those marauders and see how long it's going to take me to kill. Well, that was definitely quicker. The dissipation of these cheese ball things, it's like yeah, it's just under a second, isn't it? I'd say. Nothing else up here, is there? So this is the bit that's concerning me now. Look, these are already stacking up down here, so I need to get down and, whilst it'd be nice to kill this one, I think I need to get down and kill these ones off first, because if they all stack up in this bottom corner, I'm going to be in a right mess. So bear in mind, I'm going to get splattered now as well with rockets, so maybe I should just split them up and nasty. Look at the damage. You can almost watch the damage hit me. See the damage bar at the top just go down. It's horrendous. I'll try and get rid of these marauders first, because I can outrun this stuff. So as long as the rockets don't fire at me, which they're not, so at least I can kill these things off first. Haha, you're not wrong there, Si. I mean, what a stupid way to have to do a target. Right, okay. So I'm hoping then. So I'm inside the range, it's just rockets now. Yeah, so it does obviously seem to release the inbuilt weapon, the direction you spin. So that's something we've learned then, basically. If there's a marauder there and the ship's over here, you need to spin anti-clockwise and vice versa. So it fires at the ship first rather than fire at the marauder. What do we get then for that one there? We still got more explosive damage, and that's even with 3 plates on. 8%, resist is 63, and the concussive 4%. I'm really worried about the top tier target, the combi target, that explosive is nasty. It really is. It's really awful. I don't know. I'm not really sure. Right, I think we'll recap. That's an hour and how long have we been going? I'm not really sure, to be honest. I can never work it out. It says somewhere here, doesn't it? 1 hour and 17 minutes. Right, okay. We don't want this to go on forever, but yeah, that's the point. What do we get for damage wise? One ship, obviously, we let it go in and get more damage because the rockets were hitting that one as opposed to hitting that one there. So what do we have? Our repair. It's about the same, isn't it? I can't actually remember what the last one was, but I know it was under 2 hours. So it'll be 2 coins per target with a grease monkey in your base and doing half repair. Or it'll be 4 coins per set, basically, because you're going to half that on here. That's with 2 ships. You know. Even if you have more ships, it's going to be frustrating because there's more ships then to divide up as well, and also because there's lots of dumbfire damage, you're going to get damage anyway, if you like it or not. So slightly frustrating. Recall. Right, I'm not going to fix any of those there. So let's just have a recap, basically where we were talking. He says go back to this one here then. So far 2 targets. We believe then the first one we looked at then was the 90. We believe the 90 then is going to be the auto target. Why? Because there's no random mortars firing at you and that sort of stuff, and everything is reasonably short range, roughly around about 120, we believe. Only 3 ship types. The armored marauder, which is just there to be annoying, to be honest. It just gets in the way. Okay, so it doesn't fire anything. It doesn't fire at you. But you did notice that once you fire at it, the retreat icon top right hand corner disappears. So just bear that in mind as well. You can't leave if you're killing those things off. The Reaver Riot hull then, okay, then that was firing the it looked like ice sort of depth charges or something like that. That's what it sort of looked like anyway. So that's very fast ship. Looks like about 200 combat speed and roughly somewhere around about 100 turn speed thereabouts. They sort of go in sort of eccentric circle around you, sort of thing, and definitely zoom away before they get to you. So they can outrange you, and they're annoying, to say the least. And running amongst the third thing that's annoying, which is the land tiles. Okay, because you get hooked up pretty quick, and the riot hulls disappearing behind them, and then you get chased, which is really, really frustrating. It is actually. It's a very good point. Actually, 120 is now classed as short range, particularly after, Basilisk, which had 220 at some stage, or thereabouts. Yeah, so land tiles frustrating. Okay, they can cause damage without even knowing they're going to cause damage. They don't cause damage themselves, but the fact that the ships you try and run around these darn things and chase riots, and yeah, it's going to be interesting to see the patterns once we actually see the raid targets. And the last one is obviously the Enforcer in this particular target. The Enforcer itself, then, which it has got 2 types of obviously damage. This one here, to be honest, I didn't see it overload at all. I don't think anybody else noticed it overloading. Okay, let's just hope they don't overload at all, because that would be horrendous. Okay, but this one here has got obviously concussive. Sort of blue, sort of like projectiles coming out, and then it's got rockets as well. Because you saw a slightly different arc. There's two different sort of arcs as well. So. That's that one there. And like I said, going on then to the 91, then the Reaver Riot, yeah, again, same thing. Armored Marauder, same thing. Okay, there is obviously land tiles in as well, but I didn't want to reiterate that point twice. And then it's the Eradicator hull. Well, the Eradicator hull is probably the most frustrating ship, to be honest, because it's the one that fires the morts. You have no idea where they're going to land. They don't seem to have any set pattern whatsoever. They generally fire in your direction, as in your heart. If you're left and right of the ship, they fire in your direction, but at some random splurge pattern, basically. And fire field on the water, doing explosive damage, and they seem to last about, each of the fire fields lasts about 20 to 25 seconds. Reload seems about 20 seconds, so there's a nice overlap, which is really, really annoying when you can't work out where they're landing. And as the ships bunch up, then obviously there's loads of these darn things, so it's almost guaranteed damage, basically. And the last one, the second type, obviously, of the Enforcer as well, then, and this one here then does fire the cheese balls, and it's got rockets when you get close as well. The cheese balls have got an inner limit to them, so obviously once you get close they stop firing, because obviously you're inside the minimum range, but that's when the rockets start firing as well. So Split your ships up is the best method then, and then try and kill that thing off with the spinning. God, that's going to be so annoying doing that all raid. Spinning discs, basically spinning your ships, okay, in a circle to use your built-in weapon as well as using your own Gatling guns. Oh God, depth charges. It's just frustrating as ever. But that's it in a nutshell. Right. Well, just like I say, Steelhead crew seems to do okay. It definitely works and that sort of stuff. I suppose the other thing we could do is take it off and just go and do. Oh, we won't do that. Does anyone want to see that? I'll wait a couple of seconds. We can always take it off, but it says it sort of adds 15%, defense. So it should be 15% less if you take it. Or 15% more damage if you take it off. So I don't really know, to be honest. Other crews, like we said, we'll just pick another ship randomly. Crews, no point putting a evade crew on. Yeah, you can use some of these sort of things if you really want to. What's this going to? Shots that normally miss become critical hits. Yeah, fantastic. But obviously, once you've shot your own weapon off, it's got a dumbfire itself as well. So even if it's supposed to be hitting, it's not actually making a difference if their riot ships disappeared. It's a waste of time, really, to be honest. So splash gets more damage at the end. It's fantastic. I've only got 15 splash, so I wouldn't waste a disciples crew, I don't think, to be honest. Demo squads, great. Talked about buildings, no good. Damage protection, yeah, I get 30%, but I'm getting 15% anyway. So it's, and they get a reload bonus, which is a bit irrelevant. Okay, so I don't think that's a crew to use either. Grease monkeys only really start working when you actually get damaged, and you don't want damage, do you? So yeah, they have a maximum. If you're going to drive and keep driving until your fleet's completely dead, grease monkeys fine, no problem at all, but it only sort of kicks in once it's sort of like half knackered, basically, when your fleet's dead. So I tend to keep away from those and use those in my base basically for fixing. Um, Nothing really going to get out of the Salty Dog, I don't think, to be honest. It's Forsaken anyway. This isn't a Forsaken, it's a Draconian hull. Okay, so there's nothing in there that's going to give us any benefit whatsoever. Like I said, going out for the Evade crew, Sea Serpent, yes, it's got turn 150, but there's not going to give you there's no point having extra Evade because this is all area effect damage, so it's pointless. Don't mind Deadeye Destroyer. Deadeye Destroyer will be okay, especially if you haven't got the right CIC or if we haven't got the right specials on, because you do get a 50% crit chance, okay? And those crits then do double damage, so that's not too bad. I've changed the base layout a little bit, so yes, you're right. Okay, well spotted. Okay, and I do. You're right, bro. I do change it pretty much every day. I just like keeping things interesting. Okay. I'm surprised something hasn't hit me. I thought they would have done, but there we go. And then, yeah, like I said, Steelhead's crew is good. It's 15, and it's right across the board now for all damage types, so that's nice. Okay. And then moving across, there's no point doing a speed crew because it wears off anyway. To be honest, there's nothing else in there that's going to give us anything of any bonus whatsoever. Not as suppose as you want to run in and get one of the riot ships out of the way, then run back out again, I suppose. But it's going to go darting straight across the screen in front of you, and you're not going to turn fast enough to go and chase it. So that's almost like a waste of time, to be honest. Building damage crews, forget it. Dragon Slayer, quite like the Dragon Slayer. Might play with that one, okay, during the raid. Why? Simply because obviously it gives you a 50% reload and you get the 115% turn speed. It may help, it may not help. I don't know. I found I was struggling then chasing the riots down because I wasn't turning fast enough. That's what I thought. That's what I think. So I'm not really sure. Has the bed set up in Base Planner? You're not very helpful, are you? Yeah, we've talked about Salty Dog already. So and that's it. There's no point worrying about the other crew. I mean, there's 2 or 3 crews. There are some options. It's okay. It's all right. I just think the targets are going to be annoying after a while. But it's just the way it is. Like I said, it's a shame you can't do it the old days. You used to just click next to the ship and it used to spin by itself and you could just leave it spinning. We used to do that in base hit and it used to be quite nice doing that because the turn up was too small. It was too large, sorry, the turning circle. Let's just go back into shipyard, just refresh our memories then. So let's load it up. I did have a hard. So this was my initial one, basically, before I even saw the VXP targets, and there was me trying to put on some evade to get it up, and 66% evade, and obviously there was a bit more evade with the CIC, and then obviously it was okay, and then all of a sudden it's all dumbfire, so there's no point doing that. So we got rid of that basically and killed that off. like I said. So then we went basically for this build instead, which was the one with the with Bushido battery. Basically. That's my goal. It's a guess. Everything here, disclaimer for everything. It's a really good ideas club according to what I've been chatting to other people about, and obviously, watched a couple of videos and talking to videos. So Jerry's got a real good video and that sort of stuff. He drives better than me anyway. He's obviously a bit more dexterous, that sort of stuff. I'm not as good anymore, but he's really good at splitting up the ships and that sort of stuff. He was showing the spinning discs and that sort of stuff. I'm just not that dexterous anymore. So um, and he's using 2 and 2 on his armor as well, so that's worth watching that video as well. Derpy's done a VXP breakdown video as well. I've had a little look at that. It's quite good. He's got some good points in there, similar sort of points that we discussed on the Hefe show. So I go and have a look at that as well. So be a sponge. That's the whole idea of this, and that's why I've sort of like thought I won't do a video. I'll just do a quick chat sort of stuff. He says quick. I never do anything quick, do I? But because we're about an hour and a half in now. But I think it's better to just talk through it, and then the mental bit in my head of why I'm thinking these sort of things, and why I'm considering doing this and not that and sort of stuff. So for me, frustrations. One, frustrated that the number of fire fields, they may reduce it, don't really know. Frustrated the land tiles because they're just goddamn annoying. Okay. Frustrated that the riots are twice the speed of what my ships are, so you're getting guaranteed damage. Frustrated at the armed marauders because they're right round the enforcers, and the enforcers, obviously, you got to get to them, and if you don't do it in the right angle, then obviously your ships are targeting, their auto built-in weapon is targeting the marauder and not the actual enforcer, and there's nothing you can do about that. Even if you shift click onto the enforcer, it's not doing anything. So frustrating as well. And yeah, bro, you're quite right, actually. So looking at the FM, although I've done most of the FM things, so it probably might not show. But looking at the prize pool, does it show up? I don't know if it does, actually. It should do, because it says I've owned it. Yeah. So there you go. Bushido battery. There's 2 in there, and next week you can get another 2 and that sort of stuff. They're not a pillage. Obviously, you can get your last one for the flagship. So they're in there, no problem at all. Obviously, there's 2 CICs. The CICs are there, same concept basically. So I know there are lots of points, but there is a new target out there, and if your fleet's up there doing it okay, we managed to sort of like get that new 186, I think it was. Managed to get that done in quite a reasonable amount of time. There is one hidey hole there, and I've seen. I think Jerry has a video on that as well. I think I did one. I can't remember. I did it on the show or something. But I did a video, didn't I? That's right. I did the first look video. It wasn't horrendous, I didn't think, to be honest. And even autoing it seems to be okay, so it's not too bad. And the armors as well. I would get more than you. You don't just go 2 and 2, 2 and 2, 2 and 2. Because 10 is the minimum of each you're going to want, sort of stuff. Because obviously it's 5 ships, and if you're going 2 and 2, it's 10. But I would get 15 if I was you. I would basically have a little look and get 15 in case you do want to go 3 and 1 and that sort of stuff. It's a good month, and as you just said there, and obviously just said it, we're in a better position, and I think this is probably why they're also going to release the garrison hull, which is why I have gone a little bit further ahead than I would normally do with this fleet. But I want to function on that when it probably may come out either in a TLC, or it may come out in pillage at the same time as the flagship. I don't really know, to be honest. It may even come out in bounty. I can't remember where the last one turned up, the rest, to be honest. But it's that time of year. It's about the right time for it to happen, that sort of stuff. And they've refreshed all the FM targets now, so there's only one to go, and that will be replaced and probably with a brand new target, ready with a new hull. So that's basically what happened last time, and then no one could hit it because no one had a fleet that could do it. That's it. Right. Okay. Stop yabbiting, TSM. Right. Thanks for joining us, guys. Okay. And those that have obviously clicked on this and had a little watch after obviously the live stream is finished, thanks for coming in. Have a little look and comment down below. Like I said, what are your thoughts? Tell me, and this is not comment just because I wanted to comment on my videos. Commenting because it's a best guess. And this is a team effort. The game is all about that, particularly on the PvE side of it, because it's Kickstarter's designing the targets, and then we've got to try and work out what best to do to get ourselves, the least amount of damage possible as a group of players. It's interesting, I think, to be honest. It's interesting that it's draconian when it's a skirmish hull, which I think is also interesting. It's interesting there's a siege ship in the target. It's there are various interesting things. So long as the enforcer doesn't overload, I'll be really less displeased. Is that probably the best way of putting it? I'll be less displeased with the targets than if they do overload and go all over the place. So hey, it is what it is. Right. Okay. Done. Right. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope it's helped in some respects. Okay. Thanks, guys, for coming in the chat. It's always nice to see people in the chat because it makes my life feel like I'm actually, got someone that actually likes watching what I do. But yeah, enjoy. Right. Thanks very much. Take care.